coming. Sierra Leone and journalism, they're coming to the finish, and it is forever young. Celebrate Japan! They won the Breeders' Cup Classic. Sierra Leone was second.
Forever Young with a fantastic win in yesterday's Breeders' Cup Classic. I loved him going into the race yesterday, Jeff, and the reason was social media, because I had seen so much footage of him training all week and having a lot of fun while he was training, not being a bad boy, just having a lot of fun out there on the racetrack. I got a chance to watch his workout on social media. Like, that stuff really helps you out with your handicapping, and if you got a chance to see it on your phone or on your computer, then hopefully you got a chance to bet it too.
And we heard a very interesting interview through the interpreter of the trainer mentioning that last year in the Classic he was about 75%. This year he felt he had him at around 100%, and certainly that paid off in a big, big way. The Japanese breeding program has evolved so much, Elisa. They are amongst the best of the best in the world right now. They've won that big North American race now. The one race that has eluded them to this point is the Derby, and we'll see if they're able to finally get a Derby win. It's going to happen at some point. They're just too powerful right now. But what a day for Japan. I mean, sadly, the Blue Jays, they ran into some Japanese monsters in terms of you had Yamamoto and you had Otani all series long.
Yeah.
And, you know, Robert wants to get my comments on the Jays. They played their hearts out. They had opportunities to win. They just couldn't quite deliver that knockout blow, and that's the way it goes. Super proud of them, though. What a dream season. I
think even after the fact, you know, after we've had time to kind of digest it and relax, I'm just so proud of them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so proud of our country, you know, so proud of Toronto, the way we handled everything.
Yep.
You know, we were really classy in losing. Like, that's one thing, you know. You take a loss, you kick a few cans around. But I thought our guys were just all class yesterday. And I was texting Jeff throughout the game, you know, because for a while there, I'm like, have another beer, Jeff. We're good to go. That Ernie Clement,
such a scrapper.
That slide that he had is going to live on in eternity as a meme for all sorts of different things. He's my favorite player.
Do you know he was actually a very good hockey player, too? When he was a kid?
Surprise me.
Yeah, he was a really, really good hockey player. Well, there's so many likable players in that team, you know, and just
the whole team's.
I mean, we were talking to your parents earlier on today, and just the fact that you had all these guys that they picked up off the scrap heap.
Yeah.
And the Lucases, the Bargers, you know.
Yeah.
You got this young kid that was able to pitch so well, Yusavich. Like, I just hope they're able to keep a lot of them together for next season.
Me too. Yeah. Like, now, I think more than ever for me, and I saw the 92, 93 wins.
We're old enough to remember
that. But we were
that.
kids, yeah. But now for me, I'm like, okay, I got to get Jays tickets for next year, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, I think everybody is going to be on the bandwagon. They made people interested in the game that are not regular viewers of the game. You know, I like baseball.
What was
don't
missing
always watch.
on that team was Fraser Abley and Rafael Hernandez. If the Jays had Hernandez and Fraser Abley off the days they had yesterday, they probably would have won.
Now, that would be an interesting strike zone that you'd have to pitch to. Yes, Rafi had 4 winners on the card, and Fraser had 4 winners on the card as well. Fantastic day for them at the office. Now, today, we have a familiar face coming back into the Jocks room. Yesterday, it was Emma Wilson. Today, it's Sahin Savachi, who's here to ride the stake.
Coming off a 3-win day in New York yesterday, too. Yeah, a nice little catch-up with him, so he's looking forward to riding that Clermont horse. We're going to show you that replay. This horse made a pretty big move last time up to pull off a victory down at Prescott. I'm not sure what was in behind that one, but that was an eye-opening performance. Yep, but great to catch up with Sahin. He's off to a great start down in New York.
All right. Okay, let's talk about what happened this morning on the track as far as training was concerned. It's actually a beautiful morning, you know. We had the clocks fall back today, so for some of us, you were able to go back to bed, not necessarily for our trainers and our horse people on the backstretch. They were up, you know, they have to get up early, because here's the thing. You're feeding a horse now an hour later, and they're a little PO'd when you come into the barn, like, weren't you supposed to be here an hour ago? So he rated the track a 3.5 out of a 5. He says, again, the outside was the best. He said that yesterday, too. Of course, that's what the morning is all about. Then they go out and they work on the track, and it just always kind of seems like it changes once the afternoon comes into play. But who's this horse? Yukon Striker. This is a Drexler horse that worked quite well that caught his eye.
So they bought this horse out of the sale last year. This is McLean's Music, who has yet to debut and has had 1, 2, 3 5/8 works now, so very, very close.
Bought the horse out of the sale here?
Our sale, yep. And sold for 29,000 American. So I'm not sure what the conversion is to
35
Canadian
or so,
dollars. Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. So Yukon Striker, love the name, and very, very close, obviously, to making it to the races. And that's the one thing with the younger trainers that we have touched on, you know, whether it's been the Martys or the Devin Gittins or, you know, all these trainers are trying to establish themselves. I mean, they obviously are good with the claiming horses. We know that, but you got to be able to develop these horses too. And,
well, and you can, but you could just specialize and say, look,
of course,
I'm going to specialize in claimers. I'm going to
but
specialize
if you
in
want to
grass
get,
horses.
you know, if you want to get to
Big clients,
where if you want to get to like win those marquee races, you've got to be able to establish those horses. Because claiming horses, listen, they're a lot of fun to have, but they're not staked caliber horses.
Yeah, yeah, and babies are a whole different ball game than training a nice old claimer. So you know,
they will test your patience.
Yeah, and hey, listen, everybody has their niche, as we found out over the years playing various trainers. There's some trainers that will stick with in claiming events, and there's some trainers that catch your eye when they're in claiming races, like Hall of Famers.
I did laugh when you said it was a beautiful morning this morning, and you were right, because I said the same thing to the assistant clerk of scales, to Tino Luciani today. I said, boy, what a beautiful morning. He just looks at me side-eyed. I said, what are you talking? I said, it's beautiful. He goes, yeah, but you weren't there at 4 o'clock in the morning when before the sun was out.
and he would feel the cold. Now, a guy like that today, with the sun the way it is probably wishing he was out on the golf course. Maybe,
I wonder how many more rounds we could squeeze out
I
this
think
year.
today, if you can get there today, and we're going to be done around 5 o'clock, but it's going to get
There
dark
was a lot
early.
of frost on my ground this morning.
Yeah, well, hey, that's the way it goes. We're into the month of November. Don't forget to, I'm not wearing my poppy. I have it, don't worry. I was just going to say, don't forget to buy your poppy, everybody, because it's really important to remember everything as we get into Remembrance
Where did you put the one you had yesterday?
It's in my bag, and I have a secondary one, and I will get it. Do not worry. Okay, race number 1 is where race number 3 is where we're headed to first. Third race on the program today is, is 3/4. It's an optional 50, what do we got in here? We got a field of 8 getting ready to go. Now, this is an interesting race because we have Proctor Phantom, who's coming back to the races. Haven't seen this horse in basically a year, we can say. Resurfaces now as a gelding, and he is from the Cassie outfit. But the other interesting horse is the other Cassie runner, that being French Horn, the filly, who will compete against the boys in here. Now, she is the answer to a trivia question for 2024 of who was the first 2-year-old winner of that season.
Hasn't won since, which is a little bit unfortunate. But Proctor Phantom is a bit of an interesting story to tell because, when you talk about working at the track and stuff like that, like people give you horses and stuff like that. So I was alerted to Proctor Phantom, and I looked at the PPs. I said, prior to this race we were looking at, I'm like, this horse hasn't run in like 2 years. Why are you giving me a horse that hasn't run in 2 years? Horse opens up, takes a little bit of money, and shows no speed at all. But let's take a look at the visual when the horse finished up on this particular occasion. This was last November, when able to come from way off the pace, and eventually he's going to lose this race by about 5 lengths, and this was a very, very tough field too. You had Babot, back when Babot was good. You had Arabian Prince, who was really good at the time. That one finishes in the 2nd place position. But just watch this horse with the Team Valor colors. This is a very effective off-the-pace rally. I was just very perplexed by the lack of speed that we saw with this horse on this particular occasion. Now we're ducking and diving, but is absolutely finishing up full of running here to eventually finish in the 6th place position. And that was at 6 furlongs. We're going to stick and stay going 6. The key is we got to get this horse more involved earlier on. Now, he has obviously had issues along the way with his career. He's only run 3 times as a 5-year-old, and now they elect to get him to. I don't think that's the reason why he's missed so much time, but it's only going to help the situation where we are right now. Obviously, he's had some issues here, but the fact that Team Valor has stayed on with the ownership group, they obviously still think this guy's got some talent.
Well, and this is something that we talked about a couple of times yesterday, was that maybe, like, for example, there was a maiden special weight. We said, geez, it didn't come up tough, so this horse has to capitalize on the situation. This race hasn't come up that tough either. So same thing, try to capitalize here with the 2. The 6, French Horn, again, we got a lot of question marks on this filly who competes against the boys here today. And then Faith is the other one. You know, she had such a nice win against Maiden Special Weight Company, but the last start, she gets beat 12 lengths.
And then you have Espresso. I would not be surprised if that horse was able to repeat. That was a pretty big performance last time out. So welcome back to Ryan Munger.
Yes, he sat out for 3 crummy days when the weather wasn't so hot, and now today it's not so bad. Ryan just hates the cool weather. All right, let's get over to race number 5, which is our second topic. Now this race course will change up significantly. It is scheduled for the turf at 1 mile and 3/8, but we have a vet scratch with the 5, 2-way crossing, and we have a steward scratch of the 6, Stanley House, who is the star from the Mike DiPaolo outfit. So with those 2 horses coming out, you know, does it all land on Navy Seal, the Wesley Ward trainee that's here with Pietra Morana?
Now, Navy Seal, this was brought to my attention by a friend of mine earlier on this morning, and I did not realize this. Navy Seal has the distinction of finishing 5th back in 2024 to Forever Young.
Ah, look at that. Yeah, that's
I did
pretty
not
awesome.
realize that. And now has been in North America and has had back-to-back victories. And certainly the horse is here because of the long-distance nature of this turf course. Now, I am going to use an Elisa Blow theory with my handicapping in this race. Elisa's theory is, which I buy, when the turf course has a little bit of give to it, play one of the tinier horses. And one of the tinier horses here is Tosin's Wish, who has made it onto the clock report as well and ran in the International and ran very, very well to finish in the 6th place position, losing by about 5 lengths. And I just think that this little horse might be able to pull off the first victory for this guy in over a year. And hopefully he's going to be able to get up to win it. And there's a good shot of Sahin Savachi, who rode the horse to victory on that particular occasion. Dancing in Denial, I mean, to finish 4th in the International, what a performance from that one. But I don't blame you for taking Navy Seal. Now, the thing is, now the scratch of Stanley House, where's the pace? Is it Raffers?
Yeah, no kidding.
Is it maybe Navy Seal?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You look on here and it's like there's not a distinct front runner.
I got a funny feeling Navy Seal is going to go.
I would not
You know
be
what's
surprised.
interesting? You and I have been watching the Del Mar feed, and they were talking a lot about, especially on Friday, they were talking a lot about Kentucky Downs horses, horses who raced and won at Kentucky Downs. They were saying, you know, they're not doing very well here in California. Well, yesterday, horses who raced in Kentucky Downs won Breeders' Cup races. So, you know, this horse, a winner at Kentucky Downs, and that's at a distance of 1.5 miles, which for all I know could be this turn, this way, this way, this way. I mean, it's all over the place down there, and he had no problems handling that. I'd like to see him visually, because, you know, that is my theory. The smaller horses, when the turf course has some give to him. So if he's a monster, I might have to change things up.
I'm sure he's good looking. He's a Coolmore horse. How many Coolmore breds do we get to see around here at Woodbine?
Yeah, really neat to have
so
him.
that's going to be a ton of fun. So, yeah, and you know what I'm looking forward to? Getting a little bit off topic before we get to our next topic is the Keenan sale coming up tomorrow.
Oh, it's the Night of the Stars.
Yeah, because you're going to get some big names in there. I think that's when the Torpedo Anna share is going through. Isn't
that, and then, you know, you're going to start, I think it's Ted Noffey's mom is going, the dam of Ted Noffey is going through the ring.
I love watching that sale.
Yeah, the Night of the Stars. So that's certainly, and that's a lot for those horses, because now they got to get from California all the way up to Kentucky quick. You know, basically everybody wants to walk their horse at least 3 or 4 days after a big race like that. But yeah, they got to get right on a van and ship up to the
Next year will be a
Kentucky.
piece of cake. It's at Keeneland.
That's right. That's right. And you know, if you live in Kentucky, wink, wink, for those of you who do, head over and watch it, because it's a great
That
night.
is Stars, and Elisa and I are not invited, and we can't figure out why.
Well, we can get there. We got a place to stay. You just got to warm that caddy up, and you're going to have to drive it well over 100 kilometers an hour. All right, race number 6 is the first of 2 features. It is the Grade 3 Mazarine at 1 mile and 1/16. Now, the 2 stakes that we have today are classic 2-year-old stakes that we have at Woodbine. The Mazarine, we've had it forever. The Gray, had it forever as well. This race, obviously, for the gals, the Mazarine, and they'll go 1 mile and 1/16. So I guess to me, the horse to beat is Dixie Law, This is the Dale DeRusso horse that won the Cup and Saucer. She beat the boys that day. Now she gets to go back and race against her own sex. I think that gives her, you know, a big advantage here. And then I do want to know what we're going to see from Bold Time, which is the Chiefs Wood runner that Josie Carroll sends out in this race. This one coming in off of a maiden special weight score, but it was an easy one.
It was an easy win, and judging by the way the horse looks, I think we'll get better as time goes on, and we'll have a terrific 3-year-old campaign. And we'll take a look at Vanity, who I thought, you know, when against Spain special weight competition, didn't have the best of trips. And what is interesting is we had a Cassie kind of train in this race. On the engine was the eventual winner, Live Oak's Viewpoint, and at the caboose is our horse, this being Vanity. And Vanity has to wait and wait and wait and wait. Like, I really think Hernandez has got some run. He's just trying to figure out where do I go, and he's going to eventually have to bully his way here, coming up right here. Just has to kind of bully his way to get some. Look at this, like an accordion here at the top of the stretch. And the horse in the front end just is a little bit too tough, but this horse is really rolling. This, if you want to do a topic on lead changes, this 10 horse would be perfect.
Perfect.
Front left.
Yep.
The marking in the front left foot in here. A little bit green down the lane, but finishes up really nicely. And I didn't think it was a great trip. Took the horse a little while to kind of get that engine revved up a little bit. You know, I think you have a lot of horses here, Elisa, that are still very light in seasoning, which is to be expected this time of the season.
Well, it sounds to me like we caught up with conditioner Dale DeRusso and asked him about his charge, that being Dixie Law.
Yeah, I mean, she came to me from Florida in great shape. You know, she's been training well all year. You know, we talking with the owner and everything. You know, we think she's going to be even better as a 3-year-old. She's a big, sizey filly. You know, continuing to grow all year. So I think once she finishes up growing and everything, she'll be even better. So I think her best attribute is her mind. You know, she's got her little quirks. You know, most fillies do, but nothing really seems to phase her. You know, even after her quick breezes or slow breezes, you know, nothing phases her. Races don't phase her. You know, she's just got a really good racy mind and everything. Look, before we ran on the turf, we thought she was a really nice filly, so she was breezing well on the synthetic as well. Obviously, you know, you never know till she runs, but she's always breezed and trained well on the synthetic, so we don't anticipate it being a problem. But you know, it's race day, so we'll have to take it one day at a time. Listen, that's what we get up every morning to try to get. So. You know, we're always hopeful, but, you know, she's got to develop from 2 to 3 too as well. You know, a lot of times you see those early 2-year-olds or good 2-year-olds, they don't develop as a 3-year-old. But with her mindset and her body style and the way she's improving, I think she will mature to be a 3-year-old. So that's, you know, that's our goal and that's our hope for next year.
You think Dale DeRusso carries around peppermints in his pocket? I think so.
I think that barn should be extremely proud of the year they've had.
Yep,
and,
they hit their goal.
And they've got some really nice 2-year-olds, and they've got this one. And this might not be the best 2-year-old filly they've got. I'm not sure which one's better. It's this one and the Chiefs Wood horse. You know, they're both very nice 2-year-old fillies. And he's going to have a tough time separating those 2 horses. But the good news is the Chiefs Wood horse isn't in here. They got another one.
Yeah.
And they've got, obviously, Dixie Law coming up in this spot, too.
You know what's interesting? Like, going back to the beginning of the show when we were talking about finding your niche as a trainer. You know, Dale, of course, cuts his teeth with, you know, claimers.
Yeah.
He was at Fort Erie, right? But now, if you ask me what's Dale DeRusso's strength, I'd say babies.
Very good at developing horses. I would agree. And you know what, too? What I really respect with that barn, too, is they always come over looking like $1 million.
They sure do. Yeah, regardless of if they're in for 10 or if they're in stakes events, they always come over looking very good. All right, so that is race number 6, the first stakes event. The second stakes event is race number 7, and that's the Grade 3 Gray, 1 1/16 miles. So, you know, both these races that we have here today are kind of rich in history. A purse offered of $150,000 for these 2-year-olds, and just a field of 7 this season. Now, here's where we find Saheen. Saheen's going to ride the 1 horse, the Big Con, for Miguel Clement. Comes in off of an easy win against Maiden Special Weight Company. Gets on the Lasix program here today. The Cassie runner, Silent Tactic, you know, could be anything. And again, you know, this is a horse that Saheen rode as well. Now it's Fraser Abley. The horse that I was really impressed by visually in the paddock and then ran a huge race on the track was Big Time Boss, and he's the 7 in here.
Also, the 2 Carroll horses that came over looking great.
So
that one
good.
and Mr. Blue and Big Time Boss got the win. You know, you and I, we try to keep on top of races from out of town, but
Sure.
with our job, it's so challenging because, you know.
Plus, we've had to watch baseball.
Yeah, and football on Sundays. But courtesy of the internet, like it has made our job way easier. So I was working with you when I was handicapping this card on, what day was it, Thursday? And I looked at this replay for Big Con. I was like, holy smokes, watch this move. So here we are right now. It's first time out of Prescott back on September the 17th. And watch this move that this horse is going to make. So right now we are last. And this horse is going to get to the front within a blink of an eye in here. It is so impressive. Just now is starting to make this move in here. And it's just going to run by these horses like they're tied to a pole. And, you know, the rider does ask about halfway down the lane and then shuts the horse down a little bit too. So Pablo Morales rode on this particular occasion and just absolutely annihilates this field. So now, like, he really is asking, like, to put the pedal down, and he's going to give the horse just one tap here. And then I think he realizes, okay, we're going to win this race by many lengths in here. Now, the problem is, and I looked up the chart with what was in behind, there really wasn't a whole lot in behind the horse.
But it's the way he did it.
Exactly.
Geared down, too. Yeah.
And it's only going to get better. And there is a huge stat in the racing form with first-time Lasix for Miguel Clement.
No kidding.
That is a massive angle too. Madagascar, the other Clement horse, the runner-up came back to win. That was only a 57 mile at Presque. And Southern Tactic, I just kind of love the way the horse won first time out, kind of bullying his way, and had to survive an inquiry to pull off the victory in that most recent race.
You know what's really cool when you look at Miguel Clement's stats? You know, everything he has is huge, right? First time Lasix, 57%. Synthetic, 27%. Off the long layoff, 22%. One last start, 20%. Like, everything is over 20%. Like, that, there's nothing more you can ask for.
You know, his dad did a great job, and he's just taking the torch over for his late father, and he's making his dad really proud. He's doing a really good job with his horses in there. You know who has been a bit of an enigma for me is this Bouillon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, you talk with some of the clockers here, and they thought this was Kevin's best 2-year-old, and just hasn't put it together as of yet. But maybe the synthetic might wake him up a little bit.
And Kevin Attard ended up finishing 6th yesterday.
Very good run with Gas Me Up.
Gas Me Up. So that was good. Just missed a check. All right, let's go to the 8th race. Now, this one's a quick 5/8 on the inner turf course. Again, we're in lane 3, and the turf is listed as good. We're scratching the 8 horse. That one was entered as a main track only horse. It's an optional 32. And, okay, this is a nice little race because you get a cool Fort Erie horse, one of the coolest Fort Erie horses, I think, ever, that being Shaku Maku, who was here at Woodbine, tried 5/8 on the turf in this class, and finished a really game 4th to Ready to Collect, who is hot from the Ted Holder barn. You got Artemis City Limits, who is the winner of the Vice region. You got Forster's Fortune, who tries every single time. Dark Screen, Bev Chubb's horse, who, you know, she thinks this horse is better actually on the grass. Is it inner turf? Is it the EP Taylor? I mean, the horse was second on the inner in behind Go-Kart Mozart, who you're going to see on today's card too. But I mean, like, this is top to bottom. This is a great little race.
It is, and I think the given nature of the course hurts Silent Reserve. I think Silent Reserve wants to hear his bones rattle. Like, I think he loves it really firm. And I think potentially Shaku Maku might put some pressure on that one early on in here. I think the race could set up nicely for Artemis City Limits, who always seems to have to overcome an outside type of trip, and is probably going to have to do that yet again in here. I don't think there's much other than like Artemis City Limits. Like Forrester's Fortune's kind of getting a little bit long on the tooth.
I know, yeah.
I don't think Silent Reserve's the top of his game right now. One True Gentleman's a big horse. I don't know how he's going to handle a little
Soft
bit of turf, right? So you know, you and I often talk about this. You got to take advantage of when all of the stars kind of align. And I think for Artemis City Limits, the stars really align with this horse today.
Yeah. So we'll see, because, you know, listen, we're running thin on grass racing. There's not going to be much more of it.
A week today, last day.
Yeah, 1 week from today. So for all these horses, this is their last shot, and they're all going to be gunning for the big one here in the 8th race. 8th race is actually how we kick off the Lake Double. There are 9 races for you today, which is great because, you know, we've had some long days here, and and I think everybody will be really happy to kind of get home and actually maybe enjoy dinner with their family for the first time in a while. I mean, yesterday we all had to rush home for the Jays, but tonight we can all rush home for a nice meal. With the ninth race, it goes 3/4 of a mile, and it's an optional 50. And you want to stick around for the last, or at least be tuned in for the last, because this is one of the best races on today's program. We go 3/4 of a mile in a race that could read like a little steak.
Yeah.
You get Go-Kart Mozart, who's been phenomenal this year, 5-time winner at the meet. He's made $200,000. He loses Pietro, who was aboard last start out, because Pietro goes to the 3, Light the Lamp. Now, Light the Lamp was scratched out of a race when he had a claiming tag attached to him. We find him here today with no tag.
Yeah.
Then you get the classy old chestnut in this spot as well. I mean, this is a lovely way to wrap up the program.
It's a great race to wrap up the day, and this is the acid test for Go-Kart Mozart. Now we're going to find out what he's made of. And listen, whatever he's done has been amazing this season, so it's going to be just, you know, a little bit of icing on the old cake if Go-Kart Mozart was able to win on this particular occasion. I have been very vocal, but I'm a gambler, and I don't think he's quite the same that what he was last season. Last season, he was a very, very talented runner, but he gets a huge drop down in class here today, and he gets to go in for 50,000. I mean, he's been running against Simcoe, Cruden Bay, Patches O'Houlihan. Like, he's getting into a much, much easier spot today. So I think for 50, he's a real wake-up prospect in this spot. You've gone towards Light the Lamp. I don't know what surface he's better on. I just think he's a good horse, you know, more than anything. And I kind of like the fact that they're protecting the horse here today. That, to me, is a good sign.
Yeah, it's a great way to wrap up the program. The jackpot high five is growing too. It's well over $68,000, and we suggest that you take a look at that wager for race number 9 on today's card. So as mentioned, 9 races in store for you. We got some plays of the day. Now, some of our plays, I think, have been scratched because I think you and I both had Stanley House. But what have you got left?
So let's see what I got left. My watch lister has been Procter Phantom. This one's been on the watch list since the old hard drive from last season. I had to uncork this one. We're going to scratch Stanley House. My multi-lake single, it's going to be Silent Tactic. That one coming up on our stake races. And my best bet of the day is I'm a Gambler coming up in race number 9.
So I had Stanley House as well, but unfortunately I'm going to be a little thin today. These are chalky. Tequila Supernova in the first race on the program for Hall of Famer Bob Tiller with Raffy back aboard. Looks tough to me. Another Charlie. I'm going to give this one another shot here today. That's in the 4th race on today's card, and this is a horse that hails from the Norm McKnight barn and gets Raffy aboard today. So Raffy, he had 4 winners yesterday. And
3.
Oh, guess what? I got Raffy again in race number 6 on today's program, where he is going to ride Dixie Law 4 conditioner Dale DeRusso. Clay Soldier is a top selection from our Woodbine TV prod, 10-1. The price on that horse in race number 2. Procter Phantom runs on the same hard drive as you. And Bold Time in race number 6 at 2-1 for Doug McPherson. Alrighty, that gets us through the 9 races. Football day today still left in any of your football pools?
Yes, for now.
We'll
see how long that
Good
lasts.
for you.
Yeah.
I know the one in the jocks room has dwindled down to like 4 people.
I'm all about Team LA's. LA. If all the LA teams win well
now
today,
you're all LA.
After last night, watch them punch me in the face today. But yeah, still alive in some of those. So we'll see what materializes with that one. Big day for I think the Bills play the Chiefs today.
Oh yeah, Bills game. That'll be a lot of fun to watch today too. And you know what? I think if you sit outside in the right spot in the sunshine, you might just be in for a lovely afternoon as far as weather is concerned.
I think you're right.
We have 24 minutes to go before race number 1 on the program here today from Woodbine. Good luck with your choices.